We've all seen speedrunners, I'm sure. We've all enjoyed the guile of watching a speedrunner clutch a world best by 0.5 of a second, narrowly avoiding the depths of obfuscation and irrelevancy. We've all seen games done quick, I'm sure, where they raise millions of dollars every year for good causes and have questionable call-ins and memes made about them.
Hey, none of you guys are funny. If you want to prevent cancer, consider standing out in front of the shuttle that's running in front of the hotel on the hour. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bowflex Grandma, for the $150 donation. What would Waluigi do? Kill the animals.
A reason for the,
But where there's a will, there is certainly a way for people to try and capitalize and try and garner fake clout by being what is known in the business as fakers. Because why have any tangible set of skills that equate to you having accomplished something when you can just try and fake it till you make it? Why show that you've put in the time and effort to gain and earn what it has taken for you to get when you could just pretend, do les memes, as it were? Not saying that this is new, mind you, as cheaters have existed since the dawn of time. At least that's what your dad would say to me anyway. But besides, within the speedrunning environment, cheating is rife. But trying to figure out who is and isn't cheating might be sometimes harder than it's led on to be. But today, we have an example of quite possibly the stupidest cheater. The most evident, blatant example of somebody who has so few brain cells that are so self-unaware as to their own folly that they actually believe that they had skill. The only skill they had is being an idiot. I realized that you would be used to having Inky take you for these kind of enjoyments, but for today, I think it's going to be interesting to have the OG with you. So let's see what these darn dastardly fakes are all about, shall we? Take it away, Karl Jobst.
Legends.
Legends!
War never changes.
I'm sorry. We can't start the video with only half of his intro.
Hello, you absolute
There you
legends.
go, much better.
War.
Absolute
War
legend,
never
just like you.
changes. And neither does pretending to play a video game blindfolded for clout. It's a tale as old as time, and 60% of the time, it works every time.
Absolutely,
In theory,
Karl
it's the
Jobst.
perfect
Couldn't say it better
plan.
myself.
First, cover your eyes with a thin sheet of material. Thin being the key word. I can't stress enough that if the material is too thick, you won't be able to see, which will
Yeah,
make
and
it
why would you want it to be too thick and not see? It's not like the entire point of you being blindfolded is not to see. It's not like the entire definition of a blindfold is to be a folded thing that blinds you. Golly gee willikers, Batman. Holy cow. Mind woken. What a concept. Goodness gracious. Dude, the only time a blindfold is inappropriate to be thick is when it's in the bedroom. Like, if someone was like, put a blindfold over me sometime and we can play hide and seek, sure, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Why not?
very hard to play the game. Then, you pretend to do something that otherwise wouldn't take much skill. For example, beat Super Mario 64, or beat one relatively difficult boss.
I remember
Once
a
completed,
while back
and
there
this
was that,
step is
I
also
think it was
quite
that
critical,
guy.
pretend to act surprised. You really
Really
want to milk
guys,
this
she's more surprised than me when all of my milk turns up in the morning. Also, is that a replica Rathian sword? Thing is though, I know what people are gonna say. And I can see the incels in the comments on this already. I can see it. Girl has boobs, ergo, she's a thought. She's not a content creator, she's not making anything meaningful, she's just trying to plug her fansly. Because apparently the incels are so self-conscious of their own existence that they have to put their own insecurities on somebody else making their bank. Listen guys, it doesn't matter whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever. People who make the comment assuming that somebody is sexualizing their content because of their existence, these are the people you ignore. Incels exist. Absolutely. But the definition of if she breathes, she's a thought is usually only uttered by those with such a lacking of self-awareness that they don't deserve to be listened to begin with. So be gone, nincompoop!
part as much as possible. Talk about how much you can't believe it and how nervous you are.
The case here or not.
Finally, post a clip of your achievement to the subreddit of a popular streamer. Preferably one who doesn't know much about blindfolded runs and wouldn't immediately know it's obviously
I've seen people do these things blindfolded.
If you're lucky, they'll watch it on stream. And if your plan has come this far, congratulations.
There's my boy. Hey, Asman. Hey, my little My little man, my little golem-looking person. If you ever need a queen to sit by you on your throne of gaming austerity, you need look only no further as I, for I shall be your queen of the universe. Oh wait, he's got a girlfriend now, doesn't he? Shit. Well, there goes my chance.
You're now internet famous. Your feat will go down in history as one of the all-time greats.
Yo, your feet gonna go down in history?
I must warn you, this plan comes with great risk. If your fake run gets too popular, it may be seen by someone who actually knows a thing or two about blindfolded speedrunning.
Fake it till you make it, but if you make it too hard, people will notice.
Now, you're internet famous for a different reason.
That is kind of the thing, right? Do you guys think that if somebody has, like, it's so funny when you think about the psychology behind this. People fake it because they want that clout, they want that popularity, but they're so short-sighted, they don't look at the inevitable eyes that will fall on them if they do make it. Like, they're so short-sighted, they only see the popularity and clout they'll get in the short run. They'll never look at the the results that might happen or the consequences of faking. Because, here's the thing, guys. People can smell shit. If smells like shit, looks like shit, or has even the whiff of shit, those fecal-attracted individuals out there that wish to discover what shit is out there, they will find it, they will expose you for the shit you are, and make sure the entire world knows that you are shit.
And before you know it, obscure speedrunning channels are making videos about you, racking up millions of views. Today,
and then Karl Jobst makes a video about you
Queen
gaining clout off of your stupidity.
Who recently faked a blindfolded takedown of the dragon Alatreon.
This is the world we live in, by the way. This is the content creator cycle, if there is any drama related about it. It starts with clout chaser, or fake. They get popular. They get found out. They try to reconcile, usually. And then the React Andes hit the line. And that is the full circle of the drama Andes. Somebody causes drama, some clout chaser causes drama, they get popular, they get found out, they sometimes try to reconcile, but then the React Andes get a hold of it, and thus the viewership Jerkle Circ has been completed.
Game Monster Hunter World. Unfortunately for Queen Pwnsalot,
dude, I've
she
been
didn't
loving
do
this
her
game.
research,
We're gonna play Monster Hunter
because
Rise
what
soon.
she produced was one of the most unrealistic fakes I've ever seen. In today's video, we are going to take a look at her run, and I'll explain why it's fake. And if you've never tried to do a blindfolded run before, you'd probably miss this one crucial detail that makes her gameplay simply impossible.
I want to point out that there's one of two ways this is done. So in an authentic blindfold speedrun, they're looking for audio cues, and they're looking for general timing cues. It's how Dark Souls and, well, it's how any speedrun is done when it's blindfolded. Usually it's pattern recognition, usually it's path recognition, and it's muscle memory. But in the case of this, there's usually two ways they fake it. Either the evident, very thin blindfold that lets you easily see, or the other way, which he might talk about, which is pre-recorded footage. Oh, that old gotcha. Because when they say gotcha, they got you by the wallet because they've already got your ad revenue.
And while you're here, please do me a favor and subscribe. I am dangerously close to 1 million
go subscribe.
subs.
I'll leave a link to the video down in the description. Make sure you give Karl Jobst loads of love.
Now, legends, it was Valentine's Day yesterday, so naturally me and my lovely wife went out for dinner. And the
sorry, Karl, I'm sorry.
Almost
I'm happy to help plug people's sponsorships, but if it's Valentine's related, bleh, no.
Impossible to truly understand the hurdles and problems you're going to face.
Yeah, because this was the speedrunner I remember cheating originally. I remember the scandal around this guy.
It's usually
I think this guy was invited to GDQ, if I'm not mistaken.
People who don't do enough research into blindfolded runs, or who haven't really spent a lot of time doing them, don't know what is or isn't possible, and they don't know what is or isn't reasonable.
I will say, whenever we watch one of these videos, you have to understand that a lot of this is speculative. That no one is proven guilty until guilty is proven. However, it's always fun to look into it. I'm going to watch this video and then we're going to have a little bit of a look to see what's going on with this. Because I believe this was uploaded a couple days ago and there's been some consequential stuff coming after it.
One trap people can easily fall into is assuming that if you've practiced something a lot in general, that means you might be able to do it blindfolded. But this is far from true. Ask any world-class speedrunner and they will tell you that it doesn't matter how much you practice something with your eyes open, doing it blind is a totally different.
Dude, I'd just like to be able to open my eyes in the morning without having to chug 15 cups of coffee. That'd be great. Just saying.
Different beast. The streamer we are looking at today, Queen Pones a lot, didn't understand this concept. When it comes to the game Monster Hunter, she's an expert, and she's especially good at battling the monster Alatreon, which is one of the hardest fights in the game. She has killed it over 4,500 times.
Well, evident. But here's the thing. Given the chance, and this applies to a lot of walks in life, the human nature is to always walk the path of least resistance. Yes, she could probably spend hundreds of hours knuckling down, wearing the blindfold, actually learning to play blindfolded, and whatever. Because really, killing Alteron, as I found out from my own experience, is a pretty darn hard thing. But here's the real thing. Do you want to sit there and practice for another 100 hours killing a boss you've killed 4,000 times already? I mean, you know what? You could totally make content out of it. Absolutely, I would. Or you can say you've done the practice and just don a blindfold and start doing it. It is still very likely a big challenge, even with a fake blindfold. But once again, human nature is to walk the path of least resistance. It is a dopamine hit to get your reward. But really, it's more about the ethic and morals of the person as to what they decide to do. If they do decide that they would rather just easily get the clout and walk that path of least resistance, then obviously you incur the ire and wrath should you be found out. The more successful your run, the more likely you are to be found out for being a charlatan. It is just that simple. Whether this is fake or not, we will see.
And she even calls herself the Alatreon Queen. She's definitely skilled at this fight, and she assumed that because she's good at this fight, it's plausible that she could do it blindfolded. And if she did do it blindfolded, that'd be really cool.
Absolutely.
Difficult gaming feats can get a huge amount of attention on YouTube or Reddit, so there is definitely a lot of incentive
Am I
to
right,
do that.
my fellow gamers?
The 12th of January would be the day it happened. Queen Ponesalot had been practicing, and she was ready to blow the world away. Now,
and
I'm
she's
going to
obviously
give
doing
you
this
a
solo,
huge...
mind you. Doing anything in Monster Hunter solo is an endeavor in of itself. I can't even do a rank 1 hunt solo without falling off of the edge of a cliff and dying miserably.
Spoiler warning. If you don't want to know how this story ends, please stop watching now. But the big M. Night Shyamalan twist is that she can actually see through her blindfold. I mean, even we can see through her blindfold. When she puts it on or takes it off, we can quite...
Okay, I want to point out something here. Karl Jobst has a brand. His brand is to call out bullshit. It is not to prove, in fact or not, whether it is true. Karl Jobst is much like any of the React Andy news reporters, such like with the VTuber drama that we watched recently. They are not here to denote truth or intent. They are merely reporting what has been accused. Because at the end of the day, that's what draws clicks. And I have been made aware that there is evidence of this being real. And Karl Jobst reporting on the fakery is more of an observation of what was accused. So we'll watch this, and then we'll see what the response to this was. I believe this will make a nice little circle of completion.
Literally see straight through it. This is why whenever you go to fake blindfold school, they teach you on day one never to put a light source directly behind you. When she puts the blindfold on, she does it very carefully, making sure that there is only one thin layer of fabric between her eyes.
Dude, that's thinner than my common sense. My god, even I could probably solo Altreon with that on.
And the monitor.
And
you can even prove this to yourself by pulling your shirt over your eyes, and you'll see that you can easily see straight through it.
Jesus, that is a lot of collection, my dude. I do like your collection of Doom. Makes me envious.
Before she even starts playing, we already know this is fake. Her gameplay, however, is so unrealistic, it's shocking that anyone ever took this seriously. Queen Ponesalot is a comic book superhero.
It is also important to understand that Karl is biased. Karl Jobst' his job is to point out bullshit. Generally. Sometimes he will call attention to awesome things, but more often than not, he's calling out drama and accusations of that nature. So, this being a prime example, and I'm pretty sure that her retort to this came out after this video was made, so we will complete the circle of understanding by watching casts first, which is the accusation, and then we'll see what she has to say. I think that works.
She is the living incarnation of the Marvel character Daredevil. Just by
Golly.
sound alone, she knows exactly where Alatreon
Good show, by
is
the way.
at
Good
all
show.
times. And going further, not only does she know where Alatreon is, she knows exactly where its head is. Normally, in blindfolded runs, people will use the lock-on feature
Anyone
to
who's
face
able
enemies.
to... Dude,
With
I can't
lock-on,
even
the
play
game
Sekiro
automatically
normally,
faces
let
you
alone with the
towards the
blindfold.
monster, so it
It's the one
eliminates all of the
Souls-like game I
guesswork.
just cannot
and
do.
honestly, with lock-on, Alatreon isn't a hard fight to do.
Homie down here is not even friggin' facing the game. Look at this. He's not only blindfolded, but he's like, nah, dude, I'm more interested in my fucking wall. I painted it earlier and it's still drying.
Blindfolded. It's been done before, but Queen Ponzelot doesn't use lock-on at all. Instead, she just freeballs the entire fight. There's a good reason she doesn't use lock-on actually, and that's because if she used the automatic
Right,
aiming function,
understandable.
she wouldn't be able
I mean,
to
that makes
target
sense. If
Alatreon's
you lock
head,
on, it
and
means
she
that
needs
you're
to
always
hit the
facing the
head
boss.
in order to do enough damage with the weapon and strategy she's using. Queen
Makes sense,
Ponzelot
yes.
claims that by using directional sound, she can locate the position of the dragon.
I
And
do
it's
believe that that accusation that lock-on is required is not necessary. You do not know the process that somebody goes through in order to learn. If somebody has learned to understand directional sound, like as somebody who has been playing Dark Souls games prolifically and is currently doing a very hard challenge run of Dark Souls where I lose the ability to target a boss, I actually rely much more heavily on directional sound myself. Something that I can heavily relate to in this. My challenge run of Dark Souls 3 currently, when I am unable to target because Chad are a bunch of dicks and remove my ability to target, when that happens, my audio recognition becomes much more prevalent because you're relying on where the boss is to know which way to turn rather than relying on auto targeting. So I can understand that. I do believe Cast is a little bit full of shit with this, shall we say?
true that humans can determine the general direction a sound comes from, and even to an extent, the distance.
Yes,
But there is
absolutely.
a reason Daredevil is a superhero with his ability to locate things using
But Cast, my fine fellow, that doesn't make it impossible. It just makes it harder. Don't disqualify people's intent and practice just because you personally think it's not possible. Does that make it less likely? Absolutely. But that doesn't make it impossible. Well, who knows?
sound. It's because humans can't do that effectively or reliably. We aren't bats
pretty-
or dolphins.
that's
When it
pretty
comes
brash
to
of you to
blindfolded
presume.
gaming, this has been tried and
Presumptions
tested
are the maiden
for
of all virtue,
decades.
after all.
It's simply not possible, and no one can do it. Blindfolded
Oh dear, Cast. I thought you were better than this. Did you not know? I did not believe that you were a Sith, Karl Jobst. I did not believe that you only believed in absolutes. Can or cannot. Do or do not. There is no try. Oh dear, Karst. I can see your red lightsaber from a mile away, my friend.
gamers do not rely upon sound in this way. They always use
I
consistent
would
setups
point out
or
as
automatic
well,
aim.
and this is not me trying to be a gripe towards Karst. If you are going to be reporting on something, I do believe it is important to be unbiased and neutral when reporting on things. Or at least being observational and not putting your own biases within things. You are, after all, trying to report, not induce your own sentiment on things.
Gaming functions. It would be difficult enough using real sound in the real world, let alone the less precise inputs from a video game played through headphones.
Unless you're
and
a
yet,
bat.
what's super interesting is that the true
Carl, did
extent
you
of
ever
just
presume
how
she's not a
unfeasible this
bat?
task is will be lost on 99%
Maybe she's hiding
of viewers.
bat ears behind
Many
those
people
ears. You don't know if she's got
instinctively
sonar or
know
not.
that humans can't pinpoint things using sound in this way. But they do know that it's theoretically possible to have some idea about what's going on. We
Yes,
know that if we hear
obviously.
something in our left ear more than our right ear, we know the sound is coming from the left. So when we
Duh.
watch this gameplay, it obviously looks unrealistic, but we can understand why someone might think it's possible to do. But there is
I don't think that Carl's being very fair here. I know that Carl has done speedruns. I know he has put inane amounts of hours into some of these speedruns he's done. But if anything, that would mean that he should be more empathetic to what's going on. He understands that when somebody has killed something 4,200 times, generally speaking, that does give the calling card that their ability to identify and understand is going to be significantly more than those who have not. Again, it's that lack of empathy and understanding and ability to put yourself in one's shoes. You don't know what it's like to have killed this boss, specifically 4,200 times. It becomes muscle memory. It becomes ingrained. Again, is it likely she's cheating? Sure. But is she also probably the only example of somebody who is most least likely to be cheating? This is one of those examples where if it was someone else who'd not killed the boss 5,000 times, sure, very likely cheating. Someone who comes out of the woodworks, never killed the boss before, with a blindfold, and they kill it, yeah, probably 99% cheating. But somebody with 5,000 kills? You know, it makes it more plausible that she's not. It's important to remain unbiased and to be more observational in this situation. And I do believe that Karl does have a tendency of overblowing things for the sake of clicks. I still like his content. I still like what he records on, but I do, and again, a bit maybe accusationally, I do believe he does bait people's ire and uses certain accusational skills to encourage heated debates in the YouTube comments. I mean, for Christ's sake, I've paused 3 times now to accuse him of such things. But I guess it works.
Something far more egregious going on here in this gameplay that almost everyone will miss, and it's hidden in plain sight. While everyone is debating the feasibility of locating where the monster is using sound, Queen Ponzalot is doing something far more impossible that you probably didn't even consider. I'm going to show you some clips and try to identify what the problem is.
I guarantee you he's going to call out the fact that her hands are not on screen. Right. I don't know, man. I mean, if I turned if I turned my audio up to 10 on any Dark Souls boss, I can pretty much presume what's going to be coming my way if I can just hear the movement associated to the sound.
I've selected some extreme examples here to highlight what's going on, but it's important to know that Queen Ponzalot is doing this constantly at all times, to some extent, probably without even realizing it. In the clips I showed, she entered the menu to use an item, and in doing so, accidentally tilted the camera to face upwards. She doesn't always tilt the camera when using items, but in these particular cases, she did. Immediately after exiting the menu, she fixes the camera, moving it back to a more neutral position. This isn't something that is specific to her blindfolded runs either. This is a habit that she has even when she can see.
Well,
it's so habitual that she kept doing it blindfolded, not realizing that you need to see in order to know you've done this.
Carl. I need to understand why you're thinking this is a problem.
Because there is no reliable audio cue that tells you where you're facing on the vertical axis. Why did she know she was facing up? How did she know how much she was facing up? How
Can I use the term stretching? Yes, Dylan, can I have stretching for 10, please? Because, Karl, there is such a thing as muscle memory. Something that people will happily do to return to a level of origin. If you know there is a way for you to return to the default camera angle, and there is a process that you can do to get there, which will guarantee your consistency, then you're going to do it. I could understand why this seems a little bit weird, but this seems like a not knower making an accusation of a knower.
How did she fix her camera perfectly and so quickly? How is she able to do this over and over again? The fact that you can't tell whether you're looking up or down actually ends up being a bigger problem than locating the enemy on the horizontal axis. There is no reason or mechanism that explains why she's able to keep the camera in a neutral vertical position the entire fight. You can
Has Karl Jobst played Monster Hunter World, do you think? Because the longer this is going on for, the less I'm getting inclined that he's actually played the game.
Easily test this yourself. Jump into a game and close your eyes. Then randomly scramble the camera position. Then try to use the audio cues to get your vertical alignment back to neutral. Open your eyes and see how close you were. You'll find that you can't do this reliably, if at all.
Yes, true. In a lot of games, Karl. But here's the thing. May I remind you that you of all people should know that after thousands of hours playing a game, muscle memory and general awareness will tell you when you've done something that requires you to reassert yourself. After 5,000 odd hours, I'm pretty sure anyone with that amount of time will be like, I moved the stick this way, which means muscle memory tells me that I should be facing downwards, which means I need to reset my screen. Generally. It should never be perfect, mind you. And if she's doing this all the time, I can see why it would look suspicious. But I do believe this is still a bit of a stretch considering she has 5,000 hours plus in the game.
If you do manage to do this 1,000 times in a row, like Queen Pwns a lot, congratulations, you are a literal superhero.
Yay!
Again, this is
I
a
love
problem
being a
that has been
superhero.
faced
What's my
before,
superpower?
and
Controlling
anyone who
stupidity?
has or will ever try to do this will always end up looking at the floor or looking straight up. There is a way to center the camera and put it back to neutral by pressing a button, similar to pressing Z in Ocarina of Time, but Queen Pwns a lot never uses this, and always moves the camera with her mouse. I'm guessing she was so
Again, muscle memory, but maybe. I can see why this one seems suspicious.
focused on trying to make her
Maybe
horizontal
she'll address
movement
it in her video.
believable that she never even considered the vertical movement and just did it without thinking, but it's flat out impossible. The irony is that when using the greatsword, looking
I
up
think
or
he's
down
very
achieves
woefully
nothing.
underestimating
It doesn't let you
the
hit higher,
sheer
and it
brain
doesn't
rot
change
that
your
people
weapon
have when they
range.
played a game this
The
much.
only reason to
Sometimes
keep
they
the
just
camera
know.
in a
Like, we
neutral
all like being a
position would
knower
be to
after
keep
all.
the enemy on screen, which is pointless if you're blindfolded. If you were interested in keeping
There's
the
no
camera
time
in
where
a
being
neutral
blindfolded
position,
is
you can
pointless, by the
simply
way.
turn
Don't let
off
his
the ability to
sullenness
look up or down
dissuade
in the
you
game settings,
of the importance of
which is
blindfolds.
probably a good idea if you're running this blindfolded. But of course, Queen Pwns a lot doesn't do this, and just magically knows
I don't know,
where
guys,
she is
if I
looking at
started
all
Monster Hunter
times.
World right
After
now,
she did her
after only
solo
killing
effort,
Ultron maybe
about a week
once,
later, she
and
would
I did
don
this
the
with a
blindfold
blindfold,
again, and this time beat Alatreon
I'd
in
not
a
be surprised why people
4v1
call
group
bullshit.
attempt. This one didn't go up on her YouTube channel and wasn't shared around, so you probably didn't hear about it. But it's even more insane. Now she has 3 other team members all making sounds too, but she's able to perfectly distinguish the dragon's sounds and know its location without any problems.
That's
Her
called
hearing
sound
is so
isolation,
good, in
and it's a
fact,
muscle
that she
memory.
can even tell who the dragon is targeting with its attacks. Take this sequence for example. She expertly dodges this attack when Alatreon swipes at her, an attack that doesn't even have a sound cue you can use to know it's coming. But when it turns to attack the other players, she doesn't dodge at all and even knows where the attack
I
is
believe this is circumstantial. Sometimes you will just roll presumptively. Something that is a guess and could have worked, that did work, looks very much like cheating.
going. She follows it perfectly with her camera as it's happening. She's good, man. She's real good. And she can even play like this with other monsters too. So this isn't just her being really good with
She can roll like that with other monsters. Hey baby, I'm a monster. Do you want to roll with me? Just saying. I'm not desperate enough.
Alatreon, she can do this against any opponent. She legitimately has a superpower, and scientists need to study this woman's hearing as soon as possible. On the 2nd of February, Queen Pwns a lot posted the clip of her first Alatreon blindfolded victory to her YouTube channel. A couple of days later, one of her fans posted it to the Asmongold subreddit, at which time one of her Discord moderators tagged everyone in her Discord telling them to upvote the post. This message is amazing. Attention everyone, this is a call to arms. Our queen needs...
Do you think that this would have been pushed to the top if it was a dude doing this? Not like I'm making any presumptions or accusations here, but if it was a dude that did this, do you think this would have been pushed to the top? No, I don't think so. Again, the power of incels. Half of them want to simp, half of them want to slander her. Either way, none of them are there authentically for what she's doing, I don't think. I mean, that may be a bit presumptuous, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Half of the reason this got pushed up was the incels being like, no, she's faking! And the other half was, my queen!
you to go and upvote the video so that Asmongold watches it. Comment on it.
Also, isn't it such a scary dystopian world that we live in, where everyone's aspirations is to try and get Asmongold to react to your content so you can even sup upon the tiniest speck of his smegma so that you can get a little bit of clout, that little bit of clout that he gives you. And it's not even like it's wrong, because a shout out from Asmongold, him watching one of your videos or watching your channel live on stream, There was an example of something he watched recently that I actually quite enjoyed, where he was looking at a streamer that was getting dunked on by some big-name YouTuber, very unfairly so, David and Goliath situation, and the girl was like at 8,000 followers, and she was being bullied by this big YouTuber. He watched the video, sympathized with her, and she's now like 10,000 followers, 11,000 followers, and she went from averaging 50, 30, 40 viewers to 300. It is scary how much power a bold man, gremlin, goblin, ghoul-looking creature has in this world. But nay do I besmirch our king, for I would happily sit by him on his throne of McDonald's wrappers.
Sing her praises, show her how much we support her. There will be many who doubt her legitimacy, but her army watched her make history live. Do your queen proud. Comment, like, share, and raise her up.
What's up,
This
internet?
is
Like, share, and
huge.
subscribe!
Queen's Army, we march on.
It's not
Shockingly,
slander,
this
Native. It's
worked,
merely me
and
telling the truth.
Asmongold did in fact watch it on stream and
I love
even posted
Asmongold,
a
but I'm
VOD of
merely
his
saying what he
reaction to
is.
his YouTube channel.
I mean, listen, is it really hard to believe that
Also, thank you, Karl Jobst, for putting Asmongold in the video. Now I can put Asmongold in the tags and garner some of that sweet, sweet smegma.
Oh, well?
Clout. Shut up. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Haha. Haha. Clickbait. Put Asmon in the title. Yes.
somebody couldn't pull this off after 4,000 kills? I bet this is real.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Asmongold, you beautiful
Shut
soul.
up, Jobst, you
innocent,
dingus!
naive, ignorant,
This is
beautiful.
one of the few times I actually think Asmon is being very based. Sometimes he's got some very hot takes and out-of-pocket conversations, but he is... Listen. Asmon is a very observational person. He has a good eye for bullshit. As much as he may be a little gremlin, goblin, golem lookalike, he is one of the smartest YouTubers, Twitch streamers I have seen. There is a reason he has garnered his followership, and there is a reason why people watch him, other than the incels. He is a very smart person, and he is generally way more observant and way more analytical than most. Not all the times, but most of the time.
Beautiful soul. This ended up
Okay, I'm done
backfiring,
simping
as
now.
now that the clip was somewhat popular, people who actually knew how to play the game saw the clip and instantly
He's not a
realized it
genius,
was
he's just
ridiculous.
very good at observation,
The gamer Juzzy
and,
would then post
you know,
a video
sometimes
highlighting all of the ways
smarts
the
can be
gameplay was
misconstrued
obviously
for general
fake.
remembrance
Asmongold
and
would then
observational
react to
skills.
this video, and ultimately he concluded that maybe she could see through the blindfold.
I think this is what the blindfold did.
Yes, I do believe that there... I do not believe that this whole scenario is as black and white as Karl Jobst is making it seem. Like, there's one end of the spectrum, which is she did it, and the other end of the spectrum is she faked it. But I believe that the answer here of what really happened is more likely to be somewhere in the middle. I believe that, is it as authentic as it is being laid out to believe? Probably not. Did she 100% fake it? No. She definitely did not 100% fake it, because at the end of the day, she has 5,000 kills. She has more skill with this than most people. And at the end of the day, putting a blindfold over your face like Asmongold was showing, even if it's thin, it's still going to obscure your vision. It is still a metric of challenge. As to whether it was the purest of blindfold runs, maybe not. But realistically, I believe that it's more likely to be up this end of the spectrum. I guess we'll see.
I think that it obscured 95% or 90% of her vision. It did not completely
And
obscure it.
Let's face it,
which allowed her to
95%
use
of people
the
will never even beat
tiny little
Alteron even
pixels
without
that,
a blindfold.
equivalent of pixel that she can see, that
Which
are
actually
giving her
is probably one of the reasons why people
indicators
believed that
of
she
where
never
the
did it
boss
blindfold to
is.
begin with.
So she sees the guy's arm and it's like this, and she knows, okay, well then the head's gonna be here.
Asmongold, I think you might be onto something. World-class blindfolded speedrunner Bubsia would also chime in, also declaring that her run was faked. Queen Ponzelot would not take these criticisms lying down.
I can already tell you I know what the comments would be like for this guy. Simp! She is our queen! She is our queen! You're just an incel! 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 You're jealous! Guarantee it. But then there's the other half of people that would come to his video who are the incels who are there thinking to themselves, ah, yes, please validate my horrendously unbased opinion. Please validate my terrible opinion that women are all terrible. Ah, yeah, see, he said what we said. He's vilifying our terrible opinion on things. Yeah, that makes me correct because this streamer said so. Yeah!
Down, nor would her moderators, accusing people who doubted her as just being incels who lived in their mother's basement. She uploaded a video.
Guys, I hate to say that this shit is predictable, but this shit is predictable.
Claiming that she was the victim of slander and malice. She was adamant that she really was
The internet
Daredevil
is far
and
too
really
predictable.
did possess
Really
superhuman hearing
It's
and the
not
ability to
pre-watch.
know
Shut
where
up.
she's looking
Shut up. It's
based
not
on
pre-watch.
nothing. She advertised an upcoming stream where she declared she was going to prove everyone wrong. When I saw this video, and I saw how confident Queen Ponzelot and her army was in the face of these accusations, I started second-guessing myself. Could everything I know about human anatomy or blindfolded gaming be wrong? Could
Abso-fucking-lutely, my dude. There's never a clear-cut yes or no. You don't know unless you have first-hand evidence. Everything that has happened is speculative and hearsay. And until you've been able to do it yourself and you know 100% without a certainty of a doubt that this isn't possible, it's never going to be a guarantee. I mean, always you work in you never work in absolutes ever, because otherwise you will find yourself falling folly. I think this is why this video is a little bit hard to kind of swallow, because Karl's just like sitting there railing on this, even though there's like so many other perspectives you could be looking at it with.
the thousands of gamers who have dedicated themselves to blindfolded speedruns have missed something so simple? Maybe it was possible to just use your ears and play like normal. Maybe everyone had been doing it wrong
I think this is maybe a medley of situations that have culminated in just some bad represented nonsense. I think that there was just enough. I think that there was just enough questionable content for people to be like, mixed with just enough people who were jealous, mixed with just enough incels to make a perfect storm, yes, I made that reference, of stupidity.
Ready to have my entire universe blown to pieces. Honestly, I thought she was going to back out, but just like she said, on the 14th of February, she went live. This time she had a new blindfold, but before she started playing, she wanted to prove that the blindfold she was using before wasn't transparent. She used a powerful torch to show that no light was getting through. But wait a minute, this blindfold isn't the same. She's changed it. This is what it was like before. Now it's been folded up, and you can even see the seam lines where she has obviously sewn it together, and probably sewn some kind of material on the inside. The YouTuber Abisoft, who was there, asked her to unfold the blindfold, which is what it was like when she used it before, but she refused and timed him out from the chat. Even before doing this new attempt, she was gaslighting, avoiding questions, and banning people who were—
I see, at some point they're just— I think that she probably should have just not responded. At the end of the day, like, defending yourself only opens you up for more criticism. And I think there were enough people who believed her who would have validated her doing this. By going live and trying to prove that you're not lying, you're only vilifying people's opinions on you. Because they're like, oh, you're defending yourself? Oh, you're defending yourself? Well, what have you got to hide, huh? Oh, you're proving that you did it. It's just... I mean, yes, it can help, and I think it probably did in this situation. But it probably also just makes because at the end of the day, the people who hate you aren't going to stop hating you. Incels will never stop being incels, and the general idiots will never stop being idiots. So, you know, how much of a benefit is going live? This is like responding to internet bullies, you know, text bullies from like high school or whatever.
were raising legitimate concerns. It's clear as day she is a very dishonest person who is willing to tamper with evidence and trick people. However, while she is a dirty liar and her pants are surely on fire, she is also a magician. Her most recent
wizard,
attempt
if you
was
will.
amazing. She went on to beat Alatreon again with a proper blindfold on, and with paper covering her screen.
Okay, I mean, she kind of proved she could do it. I think this by itself would be enough to convince people she does it. Because at this point, the only way she'd be faking it is if it's pre-recorded. And realistically, I don't think she'd need to verify herself anymore. And honestly, anyone who thinks that she's faking at this point, I mean, again, is there still a possibility she's faking? Yes, absolutely. Do we know for certain she isn't? No. So really, it's in the eye of the beholder.
It was so convincing that
think
once
somebody
again,
deserves this much
the opinion
ire
of the most important person in
something
the
like
world,
this.
Asmongold,
When
had
it's
been
not as, like, if she is cheating, yeah, absolutely, she does. She definitely deserves some kind of like internet like call out for it by all means. But it's just so nonsensical. I think there's no realistic way where this isn't real. Maybe. I'm on the fence. I'm not gonna say whether it's real or not. I'm not gonna like make a decision about it. I'm not gonna kind of like sit here and. But let's see. Let's
changed.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like the Altreon blindfold kill was actually real. It did actually happen.
But does that mean she wasn't cheating? No, it doesn't. There were many obvious signs she was still cheating, and all of the issues with the vertical aiming still exist, and are even amplified to the extreme. Plus, there were some really bizarre things that were going on as well. But in order to do this most recent attempt justice, we are going to need an entire video, because this rabbit hole is deep.
Oh, he's on that friggin' negativity echo chamber farming spree. Let's go. Guys, we can expect 5 more videos from Karl Jobst. Karl Jobst is gonna go at this streamer like he went at fucking what's his name? Billy Mitchell. Now that Billy Mitchell's out of the picture, Karl Jobst needs someone else to hyperfixate on. Good lord. Does somebody have the video? Does somebody have the video of her that kind of proves that she did it right? Like, if you have it, let me know. And I'll permit you in the chat to post it, and we'll quickly watch that to finish this out. Because I wanna make my own opinion on this. Oh, you put it in the React, Andy? Excellent. I'll grab that real quick. So this is the actual kill, right? All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we have been provided the original footage of the kill. And I think I want to very quickly watch through it just to see what it's all about. Whether this ends up making it into the video, I'm not quite sure, but to be fair, this at least gives us the look into things ourselves.
Indeed, replicated.
I hope that she comes back and she says, I did do it blindfolded. Here's me doing it again. I hope that's what happens.
First and foremost, I've played Monster Hunter World consistently for thousands of hours with some of the best and most reputable hunters in the game, though I am no expert blindfold runner. I have never claimed to be a professional blindfold runner, and the video was not made to be a standardized blindfold submission. So I contacted Mitriz, a world record Sekiro blindfolded speedrunner, for my own expert consultation. After some discussion,
She's reading? Of course she is! Dude, not all of us can come up with some improvised inspirational speech right off the bat. It's in situations like this, when you've been accused of something, it's important you have your words right. Like, you have to have your thoughts formulated. It's actually much more professional to have a script ready for this kind of stuff. That way you don't misrepresent yourself. Of course she's reading. Of course she is.
My eye tracker on and purchased a standardized blindfold used by numerous
Right, so
other
that's
official
blindfold.
blindfolded runners. In response to all of the criticism I've received, I recorded an updated live run in its
Like, okay, here's the thing. Even with that other blindfold, you can see some light passing through, but that's like holding up a light to your hand, and you can see the light permeating through because of how, like, malleable your membrane is. You do that with a light right now. You put your hand up to the light, you can see the light, like, smearing through kind of thing. I think that's what Karl is trying to, like, reach at to say that it's not the way, I guess.
unedited and unadulterated form. I've also prepared counterpoints to defend my original video and also want to share my final thoughts.
But we'll have to wait and see, right? We'll just have to wait and see.
Hasman, my guy, when are you going to get hair plugs? That rat's tail is not doing any favors, my guy.
We'll have to wait and see, right? We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, so this is the actual run. I'm not going to watch the entire thing through. I just want to watch snippets to kind of get an idea. You know what, though? You know how I said earlier that even when any of this kind of stuff happens, even if she is proven to be a fake, she still wins. All of this attention, she's probably going to have incels and idiots in her chat berating her, but the amount of attention this has garnered her, I guarantee you her metrics are up by 50%. She's going to have more viewers, more subs, and for every one troll that comes into a chat, she'll have an extra 5 people in her chat calling her their queen. I guarantee that. At the end of the day, whether she has faked this or not, she's won. No matter how this turns out, she's won. With the Asmongold attention, with this video, I mean, whether you want that kind of attention, negative attention is still attention. That's not a good mindset to have, but metrics speak louder than actions sometimes. Like, it's very impressive. I haven't even fought this boss yet, technically.
Hello there.
Mickey Bear, thank you for the follow. What's up, dude? This fight looks hard as fuck, though. See, that's what I would do. I'd just be on the back of the monster the entire time. See, okay. Look at the way she's moving her camera. Karl Jobst basically said that the camera was always facing the boss all the time, every time. But dude, her camera's like over here. I think this is a really good example about how you can pick and choose a few certain scenes and then say something accusatory to make it seem like it's something that it isn't. But now my brain's working like a conspiracy theorist. What if this is all a ploy? What if this is all a part of the conspiracy, man? What if they're all working together in a collusion? What if they're all trying to make us think this is fake, but in reality this was all a ploy with Karl Jobst and the streamer together? Maybe they were trying to pretend that this was fake, and she asked Karl Jobst to accuse her of thinking it was fake, all in an endeavor for him to get clout with a video, and her to get even more clout by being accused by Karl Jobst, all in the endeavor of then ending up on an Asmongold video. Ah, it's all part of the plan, man. It's all part of the plan. They're trying to make you think that it's real, and it's all working together, man. At least that's what the incels will make you think. 3, 2, 1. Right, so this is sort of towards the end of the fight. We've kind of gotten the idea that she's got skill. No one is going to question, fake or not, she doesn't have skill. She knows what to do. She is evidently capable of killing this boss solo, which a lot of people cannot do. Good job. You did it. I mean, you can see the thing on her screen. She's obviously got a very powerful blindfold on. I think that with a very small shadow of doubt, she did this. I honestly think she did. Is there a small part of my mind that says she could have faked this still? Yeah, there is. Without, like, vilified proof, there is still that speculation that there is still a potential, a slimmest chance that she could have faked this. But with the evidence we have, evidence points towards that she did this. Again, you cannot say with a certainty, but with shadow of a doubt, I'd say she did it. I kind of want to see what she says, and we'll summarize this up, I think.
Disconnect prompt. I can hear the fact that an error message has occurred from the bell sound that only plays during on-screen prompt. I'm also trying to dodge the head swipe with spacebar. I canceled the prompt that I heard with spacebar, and Juicy in his video even comments, to anyone who thinks she was pressing dodge to close the dialogue, she presses twice way too fast to register 2 dodges. Juicy's video claims that my eye tracker picked up my eyes during the hunt. If I truly could see through my blindfold,
Nah, I'm sorry. Any software like this, I mean, fuck, dude, I'm using a face tracker right now. This shit works all the time, 50% of the time. You guys have seen how wild this face tracking can get sometimes, right? And that is a very, very poor bit of evidence to use. Sometimes this shit will just activate for no good reason.
The eye tracker could register my eyes like it did apparently.
Yeah, trackers are usually very temperamental.
Why wouldn't it be tracking my eyes and show them the entire time? I think we can all agree that the appearance of this small blip of the eye tracker for a split second at a random time is a fact.
And if that was really going to be an evidential point, then the eye tracker would have been detected for way longer, more often, rather than just one tiny little blip. If it happened more often than once, it would definitely have more weight behind it, but it didn't and it doesn't, so therefore it can't.
It's positive.
Audio cues,
Some
alright?
argue that my movements or attacks are performed without audio cues. However, anyone who has fought a Latreon enough times knows that
Can we
there are
take
some
our points
movements
back
and
to what we said
attack
earlier?
patterns in the fight that are a lot more subtle. One example of
5,000
this
kills.
is just prior to a Latreon
5,000 kills.
where he stomps his feet.
Even the
has a very
slightest audio cue or the slightest noise will trigger hairs up your butt crack. I'm
small
sorry.
visual cue, but an
The
even
accusation
more
that she
subtle
can't tell
cue,
audio cues,
which if
not
you listen closely enough,
very
is
good. Not
definitely there.
not cool,
If
Batman.
you haven't mastered the fight, you may not know about this subtle detail, but I do. Watch. and
Yes,
you can
good.
both
Defend yourself.
see and more
You have,
importantly,
of
hear
all
it.
people, you have the right. With 5,000 kills under your belt, you have the right. Yes. See, this is the okay.
After
This is
fighting-
the difference between Karl Jobst, who's probably never played Monster Hunter and is just making accusations with no like backing or understanding, and just making circumstantial evidence to prove their own biased point, versus somebody who has the information, who has done this 5,000 times, and would know, and is then backing up their point with evidence. Thank you, Queen Poneslot, for being kind of based and a little bit sussy, but being based enough to at least defend yourself with very professional wisdom.
Fighting the
in a
monster
professional manner, mind
thousands
you.
of times, it truly does become second nature. Just because you don't notice them or you don't understand them does not mean that I don't.
Yeah, dude, the incels are out there going, "Ah, well, I didn't hear it and I'm a gamer, but you're a girl, so you can't be better than me because I'm a dude." Dude, this entire video could be titled The Incelening.
Both Juicy and Bubsia suggest that my original run is fraudulent because I said that it took me several attempts to perform the blindfolded run. I knew that we would be trying it that day on stream, and I had practiced this about a half a dozen times off stream in preparation for an on-stream challenge with my friend as a duo. Again, this was never meant to be a speedrun or an official blindfolded submission. This wasn't even supposed to be solo. We were practicing it as a duo because it was just supposed to be for fun on stream.
Hey, how funny is it that most people just forget that there's supposed to be fun with all of this? And yet these same people who would accuse Queen Pones a lot of cheating probably run to the defense of their king who uses aim hacks or, you know, trolls people in other video games. Like, talk about selective ire. Talk about selective, like, ears are closed when it's the dude they simp for or their king, their tier 3 sub. But when it's a girl, or when it's like, when it's someone they disagree with, or you know what, I'm not listening, la la la. Cheers,
His
love.
hunting horn was helping me locate the monster. I even kept my sound alerts on during my stream, which Juicy points out not as distractors from my concentration, but because this was supposed to be carefree live stream content, and I saw no reason to turn them off for a fun exercise.
Furthermore, anyone doing blindfold runs will minimize any external sound sources that would interfere with the audio cues.
Furthermore, anyone with 5,000, once again, I go back to myself, anyone with 5,000 kills on a boss has the distinct ability to distinguish the difference between a giant gargantuan monster bearing down on you, ready to tear you a superfluous new behind, and some idiot who's redeemed something going, ooh woo. If the monster suddenly breaks out going ooh woo after 5,000 attempts for the first time, you know what, you might have some validity, but being able to distinguish the difference, yes, it might sensory overload you, but I don't think for the sake of a novelty attempt that wasn't really that serious, it should have any weight behind it.
This runner has
And it doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means that it takes someone else longer. My techniques for fighting the monster with sight still translate into how I fight it blindfolded, and I fought it the same way every single time for thousands of repetitions.
Dude, I love her fashion. Wait, hold up.
I think people are dismissing and forgetting that I've spent more hours in-game killing this monster than some people have spent in the entire game.
In fairness, she's probably spent more time fighting Alteron than some people have spent on their education. So, you know, I think it's like a very quantifiable thing to kind of sit there and try and like mentally envision how much time 10,000 hours actually is. Putting into perspective that 10,000 hours, how many days are in 10,000 hours? 416 days. 416 days. That is a year and a bit on the same game. I personally have about 15 or 16,000 hours in World of Warcraft. Now imagine you've spent 416 days of your life playing the same game. Yeah, no duh. If anybody's going to be potentially doing this, it will be someone with this kind of time.
We aren't talking about a couple of hunts or a couple hundred hunts. We're talking on an order of magnitude higher. Thousands of successful kills, not to mention all of the failed or incomplete runs that aren't counted. For anyone that doubts my ability to do this, why don't you kill something for almost 5...
Ah, she gotcha! She gotcha! She got them with the no you! How about you do this instead? Yeah, if you think you're so good at this, why don't you do it, you incels? I love that. I love that Uno reverse card moment.
I think you'd be surprised at how easy it is, and how some experts, like Mitras, with less Elatrion experience, have already tried and said that it is possible, even after a few tries. Juicy highlights this particular moment where I run into a shard of ice, attempting to claim that I can see it. In the clip, the monster was claggered, and my only objective is to get straight to his head, which I can hear. With that same logic, if you assume I somehow am able to see the icicles, then how would you explain this clip where I run into one face first, run in place, and even slash through it? The icicle is silent, and it's literally in the middle of my screen. If I could see it, why would I run right into it? And keep running into it? I even end up hitting it.
You know how I made the mention earlier about having blinkers? People will only look at the thing that looks suspicious, and they'll completely ignore everything else. Like, one tiny little bit of suspicious content completely countermands the 99% of everything else that was perfectly fine. And you can't always presume that something that looks suspicious is actually bad. It just might be happenstance. Just, you know.
And not even the monster. Then, because it's silent, I don't see it charging up. And even as a master of this hunt, I still get hit by it.
This entire thing was probably the best thing she could have done. Second only to just not replying at all. If you are going to reply to something, this is how you do it. If you have criticisms or accusations being made against you, this is how you respond. That way you can dunk on the haters, you can dunk on the incels, but you know you... Because at this point, anyone who would not believe her at this stage, you're never going to change their opinion to begin with. Like how you never change a slightly obese person that drinking lard is a bad idea.
Another main criticism of my blindfolded run is the fact that I adjust my camera to fight the monster without using lock-on.
Okay, this was one of the big
Just
parts that
how
was
I
being
fight it.
criticized.
All the time. Every time. Just because I put a blindfold on doesn't mean that that changes. Here I am doing the same thing on my updated run. In fact, we can see some other examples from my original run that actually support that I am blind. Because I have a hard time turning and engaging the monster
Yes.
because I don't
Yes,
use
thank you.
lock-on. Because
Kind of what I
can't-
said earlier, right? Pick and choose a couple of, you know, slightly suspicious shots amidst a smorgasbord of, like, actual real content, and you can make anyone look guilty.
see or hear him well enough
Thank you
to
for gifted
engage
sub.
him
Appreciate it.
reliably. These are mistakes in the hunt that even beginners wouldn't make if I could see. In this clip, he is down and clearly vulnerable, yet not making much noise, so I have a hard time locating him. In fact, I'm even facing away from him and not following
Yes,
up
because,
with
you know,
attacks
people
on
who
a
are trying to
ground
chastise
monster
her
that
will
is
willingly
literally
leave
right
out
next
the
to me.
points where she's
Then,
actually
the
showing
next
she's struggling.
And only moment I actually attack is the moment he roars again, because I can clearly hear him.
You know what, guys? I could do this. I'll just choose not to. Bonk.
In this clip, the monster isn't even on my screen. Any person, even a beginner, that could see that
I
the
would be
monster
emergency
isn't even
rolling
on
so
screen
much if that happened
would
to me.
instinctively turn to search for the monster. Yet I don't hear him or see him, and stand in place trying to listen for him. It's at that last split second
God,
that I
that
hear
right
him.
there. That right there. If that is not damning evidence enough that she ain't faking this, I don't know. That right there, amidst everything else, is probably the most damning point that she is definitely not faking this. Like, Karl Jobst picked and chose the content that he knew would get the most responses. It would validate his accusation. All but omitting things like this to prove the otherwise. Because again, Karl Jobst's job is to make accusations and talk about drama. And if he reported on something that was real, because there was a slight speculation she might be faking it, he latched onto that like a limpet, going, ah, yes, juicy, juicy viewership. Because here's the thing, and the unfortunate part of the internet, drama and negativity is far more entertaining and likely to draw in viewership than wholesome things, than good things. And without going into the moral quandaries as to the ethics as to what kind of content you make, it is just getting the bank, as it were. Is it ethically or morally correct? It's up to the individual to decide, but you get my point.
I'm gearing up for an ice attack, and I turn towards him only to get hit right in the face as he is standing right behind
I
me.
think Karl Jobst will either make an apology video
I
or
even
double
get hit
down.
by
He
the
won't do
same ice
anything else.
attack. Once
He'll
I
either
get
double
up, I
down
have
and go,
no idea
ah,
where the
you're
monster is, but I can
faking,
hear the
you're a
lightning surges.
phony. Or
can't
he'll make a
even
video
tell
going,
what direction
I
they're
have
coming from,
made a
because at
series
this
of
point they all sound
unfortunate
the same.
decisions, and I do not
Listen
expect
very
to be
closely and you
forgiven.
will have a hard time too. I immediately start panic rolling, completely in the wrong direction, away from the monster. On top of that, I even roll directly into
Dude, I
one of the blocks,
want to see the
causing
double
me to
down.
faint.
I want to
If
see
I
Karl
truly could
Jobst
see
seething in
this
his chair.
happening,
I want to see
why
Karl
would I be
Jobst
dodging in
with
the
his
wrong direction?
smug
And
pale
why after
skin, his pasty white
4,500
hair,
kills
going
would
red
I
as a
make the
tomato.
mistake to roll directly into one of them at a low health and faint. Finally, at the end of the hunt, I managed to topple the monster. But because I can't see him, I don't know which way he's facing immediately. In fact, I even start moving towards the wrong end of the monster and literally stand still while he's toppled. If I could see, I
You
would've
know what?
taken
The
a
funny thing
clear
is,
headshot.
with Karl Jobst especially, dude, imagine if, hold on, what's his name? Imagine if Billy Mitchell had even the slightest amount of riz and charisma as friggin' Queen Poonsalot. Karl Jobst would have certainly stopped making videos about Karl. Look at like when Karl Jobst has a hyperfixation on someone, and knows it's going to draw him attention. Like, for like almost 2 years, this guy's been like chugging on that Billy Mitchell bandwagon. And now that it's over, more or less, gotta find someone else. Like, I kind of miss the time when Karl Jobst actually would talk about good stuff. But I think he got so, like, he went down the rabbit hole so hard of negativity echo chamber baiting that he's completely forgotten that good stuff exists. I mean, here's the thing, right? You look at the negative stuff, like his drama content, and it's always going to be performing better than most of the good stuff. Not always, but mostly. And I don't know, I guess eventually people get kind of bored of that. Like, eventually that bubble bursts, and people get bored of the negativity. They go and look for someone else who's got that negativity. Yeah. Anyway, let's finish this.
TCS, but I don't because I can't directly pinpoint the head because he's making less noise, and I end up getting a sloppy body shot to end the hunt. If you've ever seen me fight this monster with my eyes open, you can easily see that I would never have made such terrible errors. If you're going to cherry pick all of my successes,
yes, thank you. Exactly. Like, I'm glad that I have enough common sense to be on the same line as these people. Makes me realize that I myself might not be as neurospiced as I thought.
This is the internet, and with such
or at least to be a bit more based than I thought.
Opinions, everyone will have their own. No matter what points I try to make to exonerate myself.
Right. Well, thank you, Queen Poonslot. I think I can gather what you're going to say from there. Well, that was certainly an That was certainly an interesting thing. Whether, again, we cannot say for certain that she's not cheating, but there is, I'd say 99% without a shadow that she's not. But nonetheless, I hope this video has been enjoyable. I hope it's been interesting, having a little bit of a deep dive to make our own speculations. And whether you think she's cheating or not, I would love to know your comments down below. I love seeing discourse and conversation created around this stuff because it creates a better understanding as to how to approach this kind of stuff. Whether it's based on negativity or not, always use your own ideologies and intellect to make your own decisions. Don't let other people make decisions for you. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe, all the kind of good stuff, and I, Chat, and Issa will see all of you in the next video. Whether it's me or Inky, that's yet to be seen, but we'll see. Bye.